Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. Nancy P. Corbo joining us live today here on the show. She's an author, health coach, and former broadcaster, actress. She has a lot going on, and we're excited to meet her. And of course, today, even talk about her upcoming release of her novel called Brave. So welcome to the show today. How are you?
Hi, Jill. Thank you for welcoming me. I'm doing well. Really appreciate you inviting me on. Thank you.
Well, tell us a little overview about who you are and what you do, just to start.
Sure. Let's see. I am a nationally board certified health and wellness coach. I have a experience in human behavior, the human condition. Started actually my beginning, as you say, as a broadcaster. Acted for many years, film, television, theater. And that evolved into me being a soon-to-be published author.
Give me a little bit of your background. Where did you grow up? And let's go through the backstory of your life, and then we'll, dive into how you got here to do the work that you're doing.
Sure. Let's see. My history, huh? Well, I was born in New York City, Queens, actually, to an Italian-Irish family.
What part of Queens, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. Well, I was born in Flushing.
Oh, I used to live in Whitestone, which is Flushing, so I love it over there.
Yeah. Okay. Although I did spend my first 8 years in Plain Edge, Long Island, before I eventually moved with my family to New Jersey.
Amazing.
And that's where I sort of spent my formative years, my younger years, adolescence, teenage years, before I went off to college and became a professional. But that's where I started. And ever since I was young, I knew what I wanted. Ever since I was a kid, I had passions that no matter how much I even wanted to sort of shove them aside, I couldn't do it. They sort of took over and, sort of brought me to where I'm at now with what it is I do and what I strive to do. Gosh, I don't even know where to get started, Jill.
Well, I want to just ask a little more about your background as a child. So I know you always had a passion for creating, for writing, and then there's also something with your health, right? Can you just share a little bit of your background, some of the struggles and obstacles that you had to go through?
Sure. Let's see. I've had the misfortune as a kid and an adult, frankly, battling a lot of health issues. At a very young age, in fact, very uncommon at this time in history. In fact, it was mid-70s. And very patronizing, very patriarchal time when I was born. And what that did, sadly, was ultimately lead to kidney failure when I was 21 years old. In fact, right in college, right in the middle of college, it sort of just hit me upside the head. And put a huge damper, frankly, but not a pause, on my professional goals. Alongside that, though, I struggled with, lots of other health issues that came alongside it, health issues I didn't understand, health issues that other people didn't understand. And there were just a lot of obstacles because of that. In fact, one was a key relationship with my mother. And I feel, frankly, that my mother felt rather impotent. She wanted to help. She loved me. I was her daughter. The problem was she didn't know how. In fact, between me, you, and the world, Jill, I'd say it's possible she even blamed herself for it, even though I don't feel it was at all her fault. So I didn't have the best relationship with her. We didn't connect on many. So that was a big challenge for me as a professional, as a young girl, as an adult, frankly. I didn't come from a wealthy family. I had these health issues. I had financial issues as an adult. So I found that life, is overwhelming. It's about overcoming obstacles, getting past those challenges. And I decided I wasn't going to let them, define me, those obstacles. And they weren't going to stand in my way. So I just kept driving forward to where I wanted to go. In fact, the more roadblocks that got in my way, health-wise, with family, with bullying at school, the more it pushed me to say, to hell with all of this. I'm going to keep going. So, yeah. that's, I guess, that in a nutshell. But, as in this day and age, this day and age, I should say presently, I still find myself battling health issues. And that's actually hindered my progress along the way with my writing. But again, it didn't stop me, gave me a lot of pauses. But I kept going. And as of yesterday, Jill, as of last night, very late last night, I completed the final read-through of that novel. That's soon to be released next month.
Okay, hold on. We're going to jump to the novel. Okay, hold on. Let me ask. I mean, obviously, you mentioned, the broadcasting, the acting, all these things. So you love performing, you love the stage. When did it hit that you want to become an author? And what did you, decide to write about? I want to hear all about it.
Okay. Well, when I was 8 years old, I was fascinated with Annie. The movie Annie.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't sing. I couldn't dance. I didn't know anything about acting. In fact, I grew up with a family of, rather, logical, hard, yet passionate and loving people. No one that embraced artistry. No one that understood the craft of acting. So I was a black sheep. I was like the black sheep of the black sheep. And so I was kind of on my own with that. Sort of in a cocoon, fantasizing, wondering what it was like to follow a dream, to embrace my passion without the support that a young girl aches for from her family, especially her mother. So long story short, once I finally got into college, it was just a burning itch that I just finally had to scratch, and started auditioning for things, and school started gaining some confidence while I was on stage. I met a few people that really encouraged me in my work and my personality. And that's when I'm like, all right, screw it, I'm going to keep going. And then once college came, I did a lot of that acting on the side. And finally, after I graduated, I said, I'm going to be a professional. So I acted for many years. And fell in love with it and learned a lot about the human condition with it. Grew a lot as a person. A lot of evolving. And I always knew, though, that I was going to get something done, get a book done. Every dream I've had, Jill, I've achieved. Every one of them. I wanted to study at the best school in the world. I studied at the Royal Academy for a little while in London. I wanted to make a documentary. I did. I wanted to write a novel and publish it, and that's what I'm about to do. In fact, the book started when I was 12 years old. In fact, when I started writing my journal, which is in the book, real passages in the book. And I told myself, it was funny, Jill. This was back in '86. I started writing this diary. In '86, when I was 11 years old, and even then, I was like, the world's gonna read some of this, and I didn't understand. And I'm like this little girl in my bedroom writing in this book, screaming in the book with a pen. And for some reason, I knew that people were going to know what was in that book, and I didn't care. I was happy to show it. And here I am. And I said, all right, this is going to happen. Nothing's stopping me. I felt like things were trying to stop me, like the universe was trying to stop me. My health was trying to stop me, people discouraging me, but I didn't care. I had this unyielding desire to keep going. And that fire just never died. So it just kept, blowing up year after year after year. So here I am, ready to share my story with the world that I think a lot of people will understand, will relate to.
So it's a suspense, thriller, drama, right? I want to.
Yes.
And by the way, I don't know if you want to share. Do you have a trailer of the book that you want to talk about or show? I'm not sure if you wanted to do that today.
I don't see why not. What the heck, right? Sure. Yeah, I have a lot of experience in editing and a fellow author.
Well, don't you have your own publishing company too?
Yes, I do. I started that. I figured, I'm going to publish this on my own. I did a lot of research, vacillating between, self-publishing or the traditional route. And then, long story short, I said, no, I'm going to publish this myself. So I started my own company called Lucid Dream Publishing, and I will be releasing the book with that company.
So tell us about the book. I want to hear and I want to see if we can.
Oh, yeah, sure. You know what? I have my website up right now. So I guess I'll share my screen and I'll be happy to share I have I have a teaser and I have a trailer.
Perfect.
And in fact, let me ask you, Jill, do you want to see the longer, the 3 minute, or do you want to see the minute and a half teaser? What would you prefer?
I think the 3 minute. This is huge. This is big. We have time. Absolutely. Let's share it, Nancy. Thank you.
Well, let's do it. So bear with me. Let me go ahead and share my screen here as I do this. And please let me know if you're able to see my monitor, okay?
You got it. There we are. The website. Nancy P. Corbo, welcome to the website. Published author, creator, nationally board certified health coach. A lot. She does it all.
Yeah, I try. All right. So what I'll do for you is we'll go right into the novel page.
Perfect.
And as you said earlier, yeah, Brave is the name of the story. And in fact, what you're looking at right now is a section of the book, page 315 in the second version,
Okay.
Which has been refined since. But yeah, so that's just a screenshot of a real page. Just for a little tease, if you will. So if we scroll down, you'll see the blurb, of course, which is in the back of the book. And clicking on this, here's the cover, by the way. You're looking at
Tell me about
there.
the cover. How was it shot, produced? Who is it? Is it your photo? Is it?
Well, the cover, no, it's actually a friend of mine, Leon Keller, in fact, a very dear friend of mine who, by the way, when he was in college, he designed the Seinfeld logo, the big, well-known Seinfeld logo. We've seen it. We know it. If you close your eyes, you'll picture it. He designed that, and he ended up being my roommate.
Oh, my goodness.
I said to him, I said, Leon, I gave him a few words, and I said, I would love for you to design this cover. And he came up with this cover. And no, those aren't pictures of me or my twin brother, which is what the novel is focused a lot around. He found this online. He said, just give me a few words. And I gave him a few words, and he came up with this cover. And it's basically a young girl looking at her twin brother, sort of spying on him through the window while he's blowing on a dandelion. And if you look closely at the title itself, there's it's foliage. There's a lot of red leaves and green leaves. A lot of the book is taking place in the woods. And so that's the cover, I suppose, in a nutshell. So if we click on trailers, you wanted to see the longer one. So the longer one is what we shall see. So what I'll do is I'll make it so it takes up my whole screen, and hopefully you and your viewers will be able to watch it without a problem. So here we go, and I will shut my mouth while it plays.
Nancy, do you hear it?
Yes.
I don't hear it on my end, so I'm sorry. I'm looking at it, which is great, and then I'm thinking there's probably words, so let's, yeah.
Oh, you're not hearing any music or audio?
I am not.
Oh, that's curious.
Yep.
I'm hearing it loud and clear.
Would you mind just if you go back to where you're sharing your screen, if you might have to reshare it and click the audio button. Yeah. So hold on.
Okay.
Yep. So try that. And you click on share. You're going to see our screen, and there's a little option that says share as sound if you want others to see. So when you hit the share button, it should pop up a screen that says select a window that you want to share, and then look to the right. There's share options, and you got to make sure it's clicked that says share sound.
I'm not. Oh, there it is. Share sound. I've never seen that before.
Cool. Yeah. And we'll just share it again. No problem.
Sure. I'm kind of stuck right now, Jill. I don't know if you can. I don't know. Is this working?
Let's see. Here it is. And hold on. Let's hit play on it and see what happens.
Okay, so you can see my screen again. Great. All right, I'll play it again. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? Here we go. And please let me know. Just give me a thumbs up. Now?
No, there's no audio still. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I guess that won't work today then.
Okay, that's fine. We'll figure it out for next time. We'll make sure. But tell
Okay.
us what we were about to see. Tell us about this novel. Break it down for us. Give us, we can't tell us too much.
I know I can't tell you too much, but yeah, basically what it is, it's about it's it opens up with a fire in a sense that destroys these children's homes, these twin children, which is based on me and my brother, by the way. They're 12 years old, and fear of being pulled apart pushes them to take rather explosive measures. So they sort of go out on their own because they don't want to be caught inside the system. They don't want to be pulled apart from each other. Their parents have died. I'm not giving anything away. This is in the first chapter. So they take these explosive measures. Before long, people are literally dying. And then next thing you know, they're being hunted.
Wow.
And they live in this very peaceful town, but now that town is on edge. And so they escape into the woods, which they know rather well. Beth, however, is this forlorn sort of outcast. She's bullied. She's odd. She's different, and she struggles to really keep her humanity during these sort of cataclysmic circumstances that are happening while these kids are trying to survive on their own. Her brother, who's a revered jock, very popular, quite the opposite in a sense. He really fights to protect her. He fights to preserve his father's legacy. And but they're trapped in this sort of this path of self-preservation, but they're also unyielding in their convictions. They're very headstrong, like their parents. And they struggle to bridge this sort of these differences in their family, trying to safeguard one another. Fighting with themselves, fighting with each other. And then rifts start to heighten. People start getting introduced, other kids getting introduced in the story. And they're, sort of brought together by chance. And then here's this tormented, damaged, raw detective who's been through his own, struggles in life. Let's just say that. And he's got this desire for truth and revenge. And he is set out to find these kids, to seek justice. And there's just a lot of craziness that happens during all of this. It's very raw. It's very emotionally charged. And yeah, like you said, it's suspenseful. It's dramatic. It's about survival. It's about finding love and forgiveness under these, as I said, cataclysmic conditions and circumstances, and how these kids and adults sort of rise to these unexpected heights of courage and heroism. And I have to say, Jill, the core story of this is true. A lot of it, as I say, are based on my diary. However, it's labeled fiction because the contextual story, pieces of the story are fiction. But the relationships, the emotions, the dialogue, even the entries in this book are all completely true. So it was funny. My sister, God bless her soul, she read it in 2 days, and she said to me, Nancy, when I read your book and the sections of your diary that popped up, she said it was like looking into your soul. It made me feel, obviously it made her feel uncomfortable, but she felt something. I took her on a journey, and I truly think that she felt things that either she never thought she would, maybe she hadn't felt in a while, and maybe never before the moment she read the book, which is a lot of the purpose of why I wrote it, is to take people on a journey, get them to think, open their minds, touch their hearts with their own truth.
And how long did it take to write the book?
Well, the funny thing is that the first one I wrote, the novella, when I was 12 years old, I wrote that in a few months. I never finished it. And then a few years ago, I decided to write it within about a few seasons. That's what Anne Lamott, an author, those of you who know Anne Lamott, she calls the first draft a kindergarten draft. No one's going to read it. Just get it out. And that was the first draft, and I wrote it about 3 seasons. And then when I set the book aside in a few months, I went back to the book and I said, no, I can do much better than this. So I rewrote it. And I rewrote it. It took about 2 years to rewrite it. And then I went back to it and I said, no, I can do better. I can refine it. I chipped away. I polished it. A lot of surgical edits, if you will. So all in all, Jill, it took about a little over 7 years to write it and then rewrite it. And I say that because there were a lot of obstacles. I mean, you talked about health issues earlier. Yeah, I got sick a lot. I was in the hospital a lot. I had to change jobs. I bought a house. I mean, there's just life, life as it happens. So it took as long as it took. And like I said, as of yesterday, I finally completed the final read through. I nearly collapsed when I finished it. It's about 136,000 words. So it translates to about 480 pages. So it's, it's a lot to take in. But I looked at every word, I looked at every sentence, and I look at words, and I look at books like machines, so I wanted to eliminate every unnecessary part, every word that didn't belong. I wanted to make sure it flowed, and I wanted to make sure it flowed in a certain way, depending upon the different perspectives, because it's told from different perspectives, the book. So it was important that I get inside every single one of these people's minds. And that's, I have to say, Jill, is a lot where my acting experience came in.
Really? Look at this, see?
Yeah, it all tied in together, quite frankly. And getting inside the minds and the bodies of these characters, which is what I did when I was an actor.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to sort of skirt around any thick issue. I didn't want to rush through it. I wanted to make sure that when I do release it, there was no compromise. Amazing. It was unapologetic. It was real. It was raw. It was funny. It reflected life. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. This is so exciting.
I
know that the official release is when, by the way?
Well, it's going to be next month, November 2025. I don't have the set date yet, although I'm thinking probably around maybe Veterans Day. It really depends, Joe. It's my first book, so it really depends on how the formatting looks when I upload it, and once I get the paperback sent back to me, I have to approve everything, give it all the final thumbs up. So I imagine that's going to take a few weeks. So, but the plan is next month, November.
Beautiful. I'm so excited to hear more, to see more, to learn more. And obviously, what are, the people that have read it so far, what are they saying? Give us some insight. How has it been described?
It's actually at the end of my trailer. I guess
I know.
That working. There are quotes that I put at the end of the trailer, and one person who read it said, "I fell in love with these characters. They touched him. They did exactly what I set out to do. They touched his heart. They opened his mind, and he fell in love with them." Another person who read it said she couldn't read it fast enough. She's like, it built and built. You ended these chapters on a very suspenseful level. I wanted to know what happened next. They set them on edge. My sister, when she read it, she called me up and she was yelling at me. She was swearing at me. She was screaming at me. I said, "What's wrong?" She was just crying her eyes out. She's like, "Why did you do that? Why did you do like that?" I said, I'm just telling it like it is. But she loved it. It touched her. It really hit her. And that was the point. I wanted the book, Jill, to reflect life. Mm-hmm. Endings might be good. Endings might be bad. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of bad. There's a lot of gray. It's life. It's bittersweet. It was meant to be bittersweet. So it's not for the faint of heart. But it is for people that really want to be taken on a journey, and that actually maybe are searching for someone that relates to their struggles, particularly those that think that they're alone in their plight. I think a lot of people will read this book and say, "Oh my gosh, I understand what she means. I get where she was at. I'm not alone in this. It's not just me."
Wow. Do you have any, are you have any upcoming promotions? Are you going to be anywhere where people can come meet you for do any signings? What happens next?
Yes, they're not set the signings yet, but yeah, I stopped by some local bookstores in town, Las
And
Vegas and
where's town, by
Henderson.
the way? Where do you live? People may not know. Yeah, I don't think we've
I live
discussed
in
that.
Henderson, Nevada.
Yes.
Henderson, Nevada. Just, it's basically Las Vegas. It's South Las Vegas. And bookstores is where I spend a lot of my time. So I went to the bookstores in town. One is Copper Cat Books in Henderson. Another one is a used bookstore that a gentleman named Jeff runs. That's in Las Vegas, in the heart of
Mm-hmm.
Las Vegas. There's another one that just opened recently. I can't think of the name just yet. But once I get those dates down for this, I'm going to do signings there. And once those dates are down, I'll be sure to let you know. And it will definitely be on my website as well, not to mention my social media.
Oh my goodness, exciting. And how can we reach you, by the way? Could you share?
Oh, absolutely. You can read a number of ways. You can reach me on my website at nancypcorbo.com. There's a contact page. Feel free to go ahead and send me a message. I respond to every single one of them. You can also reach me on my Instagram page, Nancy P. Corbo, or of course, there's my Facebook as well. Same name, Nancy P. Corbo. So it's very easy, I have to say, to find me. Email, you want to know my email direct? It's my name at gmail.com, nancypcorbo@gmail.com. But like I said, it's all there right there in my website,
Perfect.
nancypcorbo.com. Make it very
And
easy for people.
got it. And
Mhm.
also, I mean, with your background, with all that you're doing, I mean, there's still so much to talk about. We're going to dive further in. We have quite a few more shows, which I'm excited about, right? I think we have, so
Yes,
we have four more after this.
yes, we do. Yes, ma'am.
Yay! All right, so we'll talk obviously more about the novel, and you also, as a health coach, is a whole nother aspect of you,
Yeah.
and more of your life journey. And let me just ask this: one thing that stuck out. I know you mentioned it in your notes. You've always had this. The word is passion, right? Do you have a quote
Yeah.
that you want to share with us? Um,
Oh, sure.
to inspire
God.
us. I read it. It was the only those who risk going too far. Do you know what it is?
Yes, T.S. Eliot. Only those
Perfect,
who risk,
perfect.
yes. He said, only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one could go. And it was just sort of a quote how I sort of based my life around. I said, no, I'm not going to know unless I try. I'm going to push this as far as I can go just to see how far I could go. Um, Within reason, of course.
Of course.
But what it told me, Jill, was don't put restraints on yourself.
Yeah,
Just do it. The only one stopping you is you.
beautiful. And that is the truth. Well, to kind of sum up today, how did you want to leave off? Obviously, promoting the novel is a great way. But what else do you want to say to your listeners and viewers before we do have to go?
I just want to say thank you for listening. Really appreciate your time, your ear. I'm very excited to release this story out into the world. I'm excited to touch, really reach people out there. And sort of a thank you to the world. Thank you for the fans I've had in the past in my acting. To say it's sort of a gift that I just wanted to sort of present to people, a way to inspire them, way to, maybe offer them a nudge and say, you know what, I had this dream when I was 8 years old, or I had this dream for the last 2 years. And you know what? I just listened to Nancy and this has set a fire under my butt. So you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. So sort of want to leave you with that. Take risks.
Beautiful. Well, we will. Thank you again for being here, for joining us. Pleasure getting to know you, and can't wait for next week. And we're also excited to watch that trailer together here live so everyone could see it as well. The long one and
Absolutely.
the short. We can watch them all.
Oh
And
yeah, we'll figure out the technicalities,
no,
right?
this is awesome,
Yeah.
though. But thank you so much. So
Mhm.
what do you have in store the rest of the day, Nancy? What else do you do as a busy woman promoting, working, doing so much? What do you have going on?
Well, I'm going to get back. I'm going to refine a third trailer for the book that
Oh,
I plan to
wow.
release very soon. And then I have to go and commute to my day job. I work as a health coach at a primary healthcare facility. So I work alongside PCPs, physicians, and providers and other providers. So I'm going to go and I'm going to see some of my patients in person and coach them around health and wellness.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, which I want to talk about too. You have a fantastic day. Thank you for being here and looking forward to next time, sweetheart. Thank you.
Thank you so
Enjoy
much,
the desert heat. Well, hold on. What's the temperature there today? Let me hear.
I'd say, I think 80s today. Not so bad,
Beautiful.
actually. Quite nice.
We woke up in New York. It was 37 today. I'm like, what is happening? But I know. I have a love-hate relationship with the seasons. We always want what we don't have. I wish I had the heat. You're like dying for a little bit of a break and a fall breather back like in the New York, New Jersey days. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day, sweetheart. Thanks so much.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.